Good morning and thank you. Wow, what a fantastic example of a SaaS offering that was co-developed with InterSystems on the supply chain platform and powered by Iris. Excellent example. So I actually want to talk today about another example that we've developed, and I'll spend a little bit of time of who we are and how we see the market. Validation is, I've been in the SAP space for a long time, but I promise not to talk about SAP. I've been in the supply chain space even longer. So for the last 29 years, supply chain planning and manufacturing. So no SAP talk today. UST. Almost 23 years. Headquarters is in South California. We focus on digital transformation, innovation, data analytics. I think it's very important to understand the size that we are. We are now almost 33,000 people across 30 countries, and that aggressive growth is not just through organic growth, but also through inorganic growth, through a lot of acquisitions. In fact, my company focused on supply chain transformation. We were acquired 3 years ago, so part of the family. And a number that will pop out to you, 150 customers is not a lot. But that's intentionally so. So we really value building a relationship and staying with customers and growing with them. So our average tenure with customers is over 13 years. We really cover 7 or 8 industries among them. Our focus is really around our mission is transforming lives. And we're doing that with InterSystems. We have a 2-year partnership now, which we're very happy about. Let me touch a little bit on the market that we're seeing. So when we talk to customers that's ready to take any kind of IT transformation project on, there's a couple of trends and common elements that we are seeing. It's primarily business-led, really focused on generating value. They want to see some insights out of this investment, not just functionality. It's very focused around productivity, driving productivity, saving costs. Agile projects, we're no longer doing a 5-year project. We want to have some quick wins. Obviously, very focused on consumption-based cloud usage, and user experience is utmost important. And in order to really address some of this, our approach is, there's 3 components that's very important. One is, and Scott alluded to it earlier today, having a composable architecture. You may have heard this term. Being able to integrate my enterprise cloud applications to my ERP applications through APIs, and having a digital front end from a user experience perspective. That's the foundation where I can now develop innovation on the edges. One thing that I think is essential, though, is our customers typically, like many of you, have customized their landscapes and their systems over the last 20, 30 years, to the point where there's a lot of people that was involved in that. It's no longer with the company. The requirements may have changed, and we really don't look forward to any upgrades because of that. So the focus for us is to simplify, go back to best practice processes, extract the special sauce that really differentiate your company, and create digital applications here on the edges on this composable architecture. It's a very focused initiative for us. But I think what we're seeing as we do this, we're not just creating point solutions as digital apps. We're seeing a lot of common requirements across many industries. UST Omni is one of them. Supply chain visibility, risk engine, and so forth, very common. But we have to acknowledge that different companies, different industries are at different maturity levels. So we talk to customers, oh, I want to automate everything, robotic process automation, AI. But I'm automating a bad process. I want to do optimization of my inventory, but my master data is bad. Or I want to do production optimization, scheduling optimization, but my lead times are not clearly defined. So we really need to focus on some of the foundational fundamentals first. The architecture I was talking about, making sure your process is clear and defined, and having clear and clean master data, lead times, and so forth. Then it's very common to start looking at visibility aspects, control towers, end-to-end traceability. Then we can look at things like supply chain risk engines and analysis, optimization of my inventory and my routes, for instance, demand sensing to improve my forecast based on actual sales coming in. And then we can look at automation, collaborative network planning, and so forth. But we have to realize there's some foundational things needed first. And a lot of the things I'll be talking about next is around some of these solutions that we're doing with InterSystems. Supply chain optimization as a service is one of them. So that's all fine and well what I talked about, but a lot of the difficult problems to solve requires difficult mathematical calculations. I'm doing multi-echelon inventory optimization to make sure I have inventory across my network. I'm doing pallet load optimization to make sure my pallets are loaded right, my trucks are loaded right. I'm doing route optimization, network optimization. But what people don't always remember is these are standard industry algorithms that's been around for decades. And a lot of the advanced planning systems use these algorithms. So we're not going to go reinvent it and use machine learning and analytics to go and recreate the wheel here. It's like saying I have an MRP calculator, but I'm going to rewrite it. No. Let's leverage the standard industry optimizers that's out there. So wouldn't it be nice, you all know that you may know, that implementing things like that is pretty complex to understand and implement. It's expensive and it takes a long time. Would it not be nice to be able to say, you know what, we have an unconstrained plan in my systems, either my planning systems, my ERP systems, my business network. If I had an environment where I can say, I extract this unconstrained plan, and I have a platform which basically has the data modeling and analytics, but importantly, an optimization library that can pick the right model, optimize it for me, and send it back as an optimized plan. And I can do that as a service. I can outsource my problem. It's not software as a service, it's business outcomes as a service. So that's what we did with InterSystems. So basically, again, last thing I'll say about SAP, forget the SAP on the side there. It's an example of an ERP or a legacy system we are integrating to. But what we're talking about here is whatever landscape you have now, Oracle, Manhattan, SAP, extracting that plan, we are using SAP's business technology platform as an integration layer and where we do analytics, optional. The important piece is this. So forget this for a second. Just know we're extracting an unconstrained plan into the InterSystems supply chain orchestrator, where Iris sits. And we basically have embedded Python libraries for the optimization. And that's where we extract the data into Iris, we pick a model, we optimize it there, and we send it back. We can run analytics there to show someone, hey, this is the before and after. We can run it in a middle layer, like we are doing here at SAP. We're sending that back. True outcomes as a service, supply chain optimization as a service. So this is an example of a customer where we're actually doing this together with them. Fender guitar, you guys may be familiar. The problem there is inventory optimization within the four walls. Call it load balancing. I run out of components because there's different lead time variations for demand and supply. So why am I running out of components randomly across the work in progress locations? So what we're doing is we're modeling that production line with the work in progress inventory locations. We're extracting that data into Iris. We're doing an inventory optimizer, standard industry solution. And we're sending this back, and we are showing here what is the current safety stock, what is the proposed safety stock. We can show kind of the line of what that would mean from a cost and inventory perspective. So the planner can say yes or no. So it's kind of a simulation option as well. Very advanced. We call that UST Optim, not to be confused with UST Omni. So I'm not going to spend too much time on what my colleague Jonathan already talked about on the video for Omni. But this is the global track and trace solution that was on the video. But I want to touch on a couple things that may not have come out in that video. It's not just about tracking where's my truck at. So this is ocean, rail, and truck visibility, yes, but it's not just where is it at. It's down to the pallet and SKU level within that container. And it's also got real-time API integration to the back-end systems. And importantly, if you have perishable goods, humidity, temperature, we have visibility and alerts of that as well. Now, this is the thing that makes us the most excited, and this is where the power of Iris really comes in, is the risk engine. So everything is nice, we have the dashboard, we see shipments. Now, this is inbound and outbound shipments. We see that there may be a port shutdown. So we're pulling thousands of geopolitical feeds into Iris, where we can say, hey, we predict there's going to be a port shutdown in LA. There's going to be a strike in France. Which shipments are affected, which customers are affected, and what can I do about it? So basically, it would tell you, hey, you can still expedite these with a different mode. These, we simply need to change the estimated date of arrival and so. So really predictive to be able to know exactly what's going to happen as a prediction and to orchestrate that and do something about it. It's not just visibility. So I get this question a lot, and I think it's consistent with some of the themes you've seen here at the conference. Why Iris? We have data analytics. Why Iris? And I think it's simple. So the ability to, it's not just running analytics. It's building that data model that represents the real-life scenario, very flexible in doing that, but also embedding those standard industry algorithms within a Python library into the platform. So the consumability aspect is huge for us. Then the speed and ease of integration. It's very simple. Scott alluded to some of the integration technologies. The interoperability cannot be surpassed. Performance and speed, flexibility, very, very powerful. When it comes to optimizers, typically people have a black box connotation. Oh, I don't understand it. Oh, it runs slow. But what are we doing? We're solving that because the performance is really good, and we are flexible to integrate to any back-end system. And lastly, the InterSystems team, they're not just a bunch of analytics guys and quants. They know supply chain inside out. So, for instance, Mark Holmes over there, very deep supply chain guy. So it's very easy to talk to them and really for them to understand. In fact, I want to actually thank the InterSystems team. We've got Ming, Boris, Guy, Annie, fantastic group. And I want to thank the whole InterSystems team for all their collaboration, because we are making a difference. And it's part of our mission, in impacting lives. And we're doing that across the supply chain with InterSystems. So our last thing I'll say, I'm going to hand over to the magician here, to the magic man. But for me, this is magic. What we're just doing together as a company, that's where the real magic starts. So thank you very much. Enjoy the conference.